Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, we are given a glimpse of the new Air Force long-range bomber. The U.S. Senate is moving towards action on FAA Reauthorization. A quadcopter crosses the English Channel. I'm Bree Cross. It's February 29th, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. Air Force Secretary Deborah Lee James revealed the first rendering of the long-range strike bomber, designated the B-21, and its obvious the acorn doesn't roll far from the Northrop Grumman design tree. At the announcement, James said the Air Force will be taking suggestions from airmen to help decide the name of the bomber. The artist's rendering, which is not much more than a proposed plan form, is based on the initial design concept. The designation B-21 recognizes this design as the first bomber of the 21st century. James also explained why the B-21 shares some resemblance to the B-2 when she said, quote, "The B-21 has been designed from the beginning based on a set of requirements that allows the use of existing and mature technology. In the meantime, Lockheed Martin is still claiming that the contract awarded to Northrop Grumman was not appropriate." The U.S. House of Representatives seems to be starting over on the FAA Reauthorization Act, commonly referred to as the AIR Act, but the U.S. Senate appears to be shifting gears by saying they are, quote, "not going to wait that much longer." Senate Commerce Committee Chair John Thune indicated that his committee may soon start work on an alternative FAA reauthorization bill that is being developed after the House bill appears to have stalled over ATC privatization. According to Politico, while details are sparse about a potential Senate bill, it would appear that the proposal to spin off air traffic control from the FAA would not be included in a Senate version. Senator Bill Nelson, the ranking minority member on the Commerce Committee, is reported to have said as much last week. He said Thune agrees with him that putting ATC under a private, non-profit corporation is, quote, "the wrong approach." Democrats in both houses have universally been opposed to the idea of privatizing air traffic control, a position that has also been supported by a large segment of the aviation community. After the break, Quadcopter sets a distance and time record.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. It seems like in the world of aviation, crossing the English Channel by flight has always been a goal. The first airborne crossing of the Channel occurred in 1785 in a balloon, and it appears the bragging rights for crossing the Channel by air are still coveted. Now a UK team of drone experts has successfully completed their bid to be the first people in history to fly a quadcopter drone across the English Channel, a distance of approximately 21.75 miles. The aircraft was built by AccuAir, an aerial imagery, photography, and videography company. The aircraft, dubbed Enduro-1, was purpose-built for the Channel crossing attempt. The flight took place on the morning of February 16th. It's reported that the flight did experience challenges, which included dodging large ships and a failure of the GPS guidance system. This failure required the drone to be manually flown for about the last 20 minutes of the flight. It was said that the purpose of the flight was to demonstrate that commercial drone technology is becoming more capable. Each week, we share with you an online video that one of our viewers found especially entertaining. We call it our Aero Video of the Week.
Final liftoff and land.
In this video, you'll see the restored Boeing 727 prototype from 1963, which is being prepared to fly again, sharing a photo op with Boeing's new Dreamliner. Boeing introduced the 727 as the Whisperliner, as they claimed it was quieter for the passengers because the engines were mounted in the tail. Search Whisperliner meets Dreamliner on YouTube. After these messages, True Blue Power to be on the Bell 505 Jet Ranger X.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. It's been announced at the Heli Expo that the True Blue TB17 lithium-ion engine start battery will power the new Bell Helicopter 505 Jet Ranger X. The 17 amp-hour battery uses nanophosphate lithium-ion cell chemistry to provide power at a reduced weight. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters Airline Division has sent a Section 6 notice to Atlas Air and Southern Air on behalf of the pilots they represent. This notice signals the Teamsters' intent to negotiate modifications to the pilots' collective bargaining agreements. Airline consumer complaints filed with DOT's Aviation Consumer Protection Division during 2015 were up 29.8% from 2014. These complaints cover a range of aviation service issues, such as flight problems, baggage, reservation and ticketing, refunds, consumer service, disability, and discrimination. GoGo has announced an agreement with global satellite operator SES to meet the growing demand for high-speed in-flight connectivity. The deal is for high-throughput satellite spot beam and wide beam capacity aboard satellites, which are scheduled for launch in 2017. A tentative labor agreement has been reached between Air Transat AT and the Airlines Pilots Association. It's reported to be a new 5-year contract that includes significant improvements. The agreement was reached after more than a year of negotiations and federal conciliation. Well, that's the trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. The Robinson Helicopter Company has announced an optional 43-gallon auxiliary fuel tank for its R-66 turbine helicopter, extending the helicopter's range by as much as 200 nautical miles. The fuel tank mounts on a fiberglass tray that installs in the forward section of the baggage compartment. The tank occupies 2/3 of the compartment, leaving space for up to 100 pounds of cargo. Both the tray and the tank can be removed when not needed. The system weighs approximately 37 pounds. A crash-resistant fuel bladder fits in an aluminum and fiberglass enclosure with an internal fuel pump that pumps fuel to the helicopter's main tank at approximately 40 gallons per hour. The controls are located in the upper avionics console. An R-66 with the system installed is on display at the HAI Heli Expo Convention in Louisville, Kentucky, now in progress. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.